Welcome to News 18 Showsha. I'm Yatamanyu Narain and I am with my favorite indie artist, Ambika Nayak, aka Kayan. And she has been dropping a lot of bangers back to back, and we are here to talk about that and more. How are you doing, Kayan?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am doing really good.
Right,
I'm very excited. We just dropped a new song yesterday called Stop Calling Me, which is featuring Yash Raj and
right,
produced by Lil Help. And we're
right,
getting such a wonderful response to it. So, yeah, today's
right.
a good day.
Right. So, I absolutely loved, 52 also with Karan Kanchan and, Stop Calling Me with Yashra. So, both these songs have a different vibe. So, I mean, how did this collab come through and what went behind putting everything together? Also, what did you wanted to convey through these songs?
So both 52 and Stop Calling Me are different vibes, but I feel like overall the through line is my voice and my writing style, which I think is what kind of binds all my songs together. I'm not constricted to one particular genre, but I do have a bit of an R&B pop sound. With 52, which is with Karan Kanchan, I am actually treading the path of a UK garage beat, which is something I have wanted to do for a very long time. I listen to a lot of UKG, I play a lot of it on my DJ sets, and KK had sent me this beat about, I think, almost 2 years ago. And with both these songs, apart from lyrically what I want to convey, which is very clear, and apart from, just kind of setting the tone for a newer sound that I'm coming out with, I wanted to just get back into putting out music because I was not really able to do that for about a year and a half. And now I'm like literally back with a vengeance. So yeah.
Interesting. So you also released "Oh Hi" with AB a month ago, and I mean that track is fun and groovy as well. However, some people also criticize it, saying it doesn't match up to your previous song. So what's your take on that? And overall, how do you process criticism about your work?
I love Ojai so much. I think Ojai for me is living out my childhood dream of being on a song that takes me back to kind of, the new punk sound. I used to listen to a lot of Avril Lavigne and Green Day and Offspring and Blink when I was about, I think, 12 or 13.
Right.
So Ohio for me is me living out that dream. And it is just the first of many collaborations that people are probably going to see with me and AB. I'm very fond of AB as an artist. We always wanted to do something together. This was a very different sounding song that um, I thought of and I picked. I
Right.
thought of doing something different and it was thought out. Like, I want to do something different. I want to explore a sound that's a bit different, but it's still in a pop space. And
Right.
that's where the song came from. And criticism is bound to be there, especially now that I've chosen to be a public figure. I cannot say that sometimes I'm not affected by certain comments that I'd see because people don't realize that there is a human being at the other end of this receiving bit. People just type whatever they want to. But I mean, I'm also kind of accustomed to being used to the idea of the fact that this is going to happen, but that can't deter me from experimenting with new things or trying new things because what's the point of me being an artist if I'm constantly only going to write songs that are trying to appease to an audience? I want to keep my fans happy. I want to have a bigger audience, but that's only going to come with me growing as an artist. So, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you are quite a collaborative artist, like you yourself said, and I mean, your vocals, your persona, and it fits in any genre one could imagine. I mean, whether it was No Shade with Young Raja, or So Good with Hope, and in fact, I discovered Young Raja through you, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. So,
Oh,
having said,
that's so cool.
having said that, how do you approach these collabs, and how tough is it to not just stick to one particular genre and create music which is genre agnostic?
I think my collapse happened very organically. At the time that I had joined my last management, Young Raja had also signed to them, and I loved Young Raja way before that happened. So for me, it was
Right.
like, this is so great because now my manager is his manager. So I can literally ask for this collaboration to happen. And at that time, again, I wanted to try something different with No Shade. I wanted to try a new sound. I really, really am fond of that song also very much. And Young Raj just felt like the right fit on it. I think he killed it with his verse on that song. So there is no thought that has gone into every song like, oh, I have to make it in this genre. I'll always feel like, oh, this should have a little bit of an R&B vibe or maybe a pop vibe, but I've always just gone with what feels right to me in that moment.
Right.
I think for about 2, 3 years or the 3 years that I've been putting out music, I have functioned like that. Now
Right.
it's changing a bit. Now I'm sitting with each song, I'm understanding my sound better, and it's evolving. It's evolving and it's growing up a little bit also, I think.
Right, right. So, you have always something new and unique to offer with your music videos as well. I mean, Count the Stars is a brilliant example of that. And like even Cool Kids and, Be All Right for that matter. So I wanted to know what sort of effort goes behind creating them and your ability to, deliver something different every time with these music videos.
Firstly, thank you so much for
Right,
acknowledging this because a lot of effort goes into music videos. And not just me, but every team that I've worked with put in so much of their time and effort into making these happen. It
right,
has started from having absolutely no budgets to now somewhat putting something together. It's always been a very um, it's taken a lot of effort from everyone. And
right,
it shows because you can see the work that everyone has put in. And I'm so grateful that I've always had teams that I can be so grateful for also who have given their all to make these things happen for me, for my song, for us as a team.
right.
Count the Stars, I had to and have always wanted to do something that's a little bit in the anime
Animated.
space. And it's going to be, it's the first of many that are going to come. And Mobius had to be the right person to do it. He absolutely killed it with the video. He wrote up the story, we chalked it together. It features my cat Suki. It's everything that I would want it to be. Even Be All Right has its own vibe. Like every music video, we have put in thought and effort saying this is the vibe of the song. This is what we want the visual to be like because the visuals are so important to me. How are we going to make this happen? More
Right.
often than not, we have very less time to work with also. But with every music video, whatever resources we have, how much ever time we have, we've given it our best and we've put out something that we really love.
No, that effort is evident. I mean, it shows through your music videos. So, yeah. So, I mean, I haven't gotten the opportunity yet to attend your live concerts, but I've only heard amazing, amazing things from friends and acquaintances who have, and they have told me it's very interactive, it's very fun. And you really make it a point to, make it a memorable experience for everyone that has come to listen to you. So, I mean, how do you curate and prepare for these live performances?
So in my live performances, I have the live aspect and I have the DJ sets.
Right.
The live aspect, ever since we launched the live show, which was I think at the year before last NH7 weekend, it was the first Kayan live, and it was the best way to launch it was to play Weekender in a lovely it was just amazing. So I wanted it to be an experience for people. So we put in a lot of effort into the fashion aspect of it, which I love. I love fashion and music. I love how the worlds collide.
Right.
So we put an effort to make the costumes every time. I have an amazing band. I switch between 2 or 3 bands technically that I play with. All of them amazing, amazing musicians and collaborators. I have only wanted the live set to grow even more. So from the first time to maybe the last show that I've had, we now have dancers who are part of the show. I have an amazing dance crew that I work with. So for me, putting up a live show is I want to leave people with an experience that they can go home and they can be like, okay, yeah, we went to listen to Kayan and we loved the music, but we loved what we saw. The whole thing felt so amazing. And I feel like I've just about it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like I have so much more that I want to offer to people with a live experience, and we are working towards that. When it comes to the DJ set, I curate every single DJ set is a fresh one usually from city to city because I play in so many different cities. I know that the vibes these cities have. Sometimes I know that I want to experiment a bit more. Sometimes I know what these people will want to hear in that city. And I never play music that I don't want to play. It's always like I know the different vibes and I curate every DJ set according to my new function or performance that I'm going to have. If it's a college fest, it's a different vibe. If it's a club show, it's a different vibe. If it's just an open air festival, it's a different vibe. I love watching an audience have a great time. It's really important for me to see that. And when that back and forth happens, it just happens organically. Once I know that they are vibing with what I'm doing, it happens very organically. The energy is the exchange, and then it's an experience.
So, I mean, you haven't released any EP or LP, and I mean, only through impressive singles. I mean, you have captivated a massive listeners base. So, my question is, whether this has been a conscious decision on your end, or whether working on a standalone album is difficult, considering I mean all your other commitments like DJing, live shows, and everything else.
It has been a mix of both.
Right.
Initially, I didn't see the point of writing an album because I wanted to work on different singles. Every song was speaking to me differently, and I wanted to put them out as their own stories every single time. And then in the last year or so,
Right.
I have been touring a lot and playing a lot of shows and doing a lot of shoots, which doesn't allow you time to just sit and write music. And when I want to write an album or work on that, I would love to let that be my focus or my priority in life. So after a year of like
Right.
hustling super hard, I mean, the hustle doesn't stop, but I have been able to take out a little more time now and be like, okay, I want to focus on writing music a lot more. So
Right.
tentatively next year, and I think it's all happened in its right time. I put out about 10 singles now, 10, 11, 12 singles. I'm going to keep putting out singles for the next few months. I mean, that's the plan.
Please.
Um, yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, I'm like here and I'm like ready to put music out. So I will keep putting out a few more singles, but I'm starting work on an album because I now feel like I know where my sound is headed. And I now feel like I know when I walk into the studio what I know what to ask for. I know what I like or dislike. I know how much I want to experiment. I know how much I want to pull back. I know how much I want to accept something someone's saying, but also say no to it. Like I found all of this to be more in my comfort zone after 2 or 3 years of experimenting and putting out singles and putting out music videos. So, all in its right time, I will be working on an album next year, and hopefully, next year itself, it should be with everyone.
Right. Right. So, I mean, what are some of your embarrassing or funny fan moments that occurred with you before, during, or after live shows? And when it gets too overwhelming for you to process all this love and support, what helps you to stay so grounded?
A lot of times, I have had just some of the nicest experiences.
Right.
I can't think of anything embarrassing, but I have gotten embarrassed when I've sometimes had fans be um so overwhelming with love that I have literally gotten into tears because sometimes I remember this last show that I'd done in Bombay. It was the last live show I had done, and someone traveled all the way from Nagpur to come for the
Oh,
show, and they were telling me about it and how my music has impacted them. And when I'm making music and putting out music, I'm not thinking all these things, right? I'm being so self-critical and I'm analyzing everything I'm doing, and I'm thinking, oh, it's natural for all artists to have these thoughts, I think. I
right.
don't realize that someone feels like this. So when they say that to me, it means a lot to me. So it just brought me to tears. And, sometimes they get me like, someone made this amazing fan art that was this beautiful, like, cutout of me. And then there was another little wooden board that had a carving of a picture of my mom and me. And it was just so sweet. And I'm so touched by all of this. It keeps me very motivated to keep going, honestly. And at times when all of this gets so overwhelming, I must say I'm very lucky and grateful that I have a support structure to kind of fall back on. I talk very honestly and openly with my friend circle that's now not even that big. Actually, over the past 2 years, it's gotten a little smaller and smaller. And I'm happy about that because I feel like I now have people who are like more like the real ones around me.
Right.
And I get to talk to them and my family, and I have their support to kind of help me through these times
Right.
and keep me grounded. So I really,
Right.
really rely on having my support structure, being very self aware and in touch with myself to feel grounded.
Right, right, right. That's important. So, like you said, along with the musician, you're also a DJ. So, I mean, how do you manage and prioritize both these disciplines together? And what would you rather be identified as? Kayan, the indie artist, or Kayan, the DJ, and why?
So managing between the two comes with the help of also having a team that helps me decide
Right,
what we're going to do for them. Like I recently sat down and had a meeting with my team, being like, okay, I've been playing shows for 1 year now. I want to take it easy for a bit. Let's focus on making these shows more experiential. Let's plan tours for the next year. And I want to write more music. So it's a conscious decision that you have to take of, are you going to be doing this? Are you going to be doing this? Because it can get tricky to balance, and also it can get very exhausting and
Right.
saturating after a point. But all in all, you keep doing this, and I think you learn over time how to balance this out, what makes more sense to do. So it's just a process of figuring that out. I like both equally
Right.
and so much. They're both their own experiences, that I can't take anything away from. When I'm
Right.
playing a DJ set, it has its own energy. When I'm singing live on stage and talking to people, it has its own energy.
Right.
I don't know if I want to be identified as either just an indie artist or a DJ. I want people to think of me or see me as Kayan, and she's everything. That's what it is. It's everything. It's a vibe, it's a mood. Kayan is music, she's fashion, she's everything. She's someone that we can relate with, or she's someone that inspired me to do something, because I have role models like that I look up to, and I hope that somewhere it could probably impact someone else like that.
Right. 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 So, social media and Spotify has really given, a platform to the budding artists to, showcase their craft. So, having said that, it's still not very easy for the independent artists to, create their own name, since the competition is dense. So, what would you advise these budding artists, independent artists, and how can an artist grow organically? And is there any shortcut to fame?
I don't think there's a shortcut to fame, or if there is one, then I definitely don't know it. But I think consistency is key.
Right.
Whatever grows with consistency.
Right.
You keep posting on Instagram, you find out what your audience likes, and you take to that, and you consistently do it, it's going to grow. You keep
Right.
putting on music, you have to also understand um, how your audience is responding to it. You need to look into what you are offering to the people and what they take from it, and how much of what you want to give them. And you have to just be consistent with it. I don't put out music for a year. I see that that space of mine goes down a bit. I stop posting for a while. I see that this space, my response is lower, because people are being fed so much information at all times, whether it's Instagram or Spotify. We have pop stars, models, whatnot. It's just like so much information being fed to you.
Right.
So consistency is key. And if anybody, what that's how, I mean, all my growth has happened to whatever point it is now has happened organically. And it's
Right.
all it just takes consistency and dedication.
Right. 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 So, my brother has recently started out as an indie artist and he writes and composes in English. And I've noticed something that local English artists in general enjoy a very niche kind of an audience. As in,
Yeah.
it's more difficult to make a breakthrough, compared to other Hindi independent artists. But then people like yourself or, Peter Cat Recording or Pari Can Sing make it across. So, is it comparatively tough for English artists to create a name when there are so many Hindi independent artists around? And how can one tackle that?
I feel like we're in a time right now where the language is slowly gonna matter a little lesser,
Right.
and it matters how people feel when they listen to your song.
Right.
I have felt a sort of lack of access to a larger audience just because of the language that I choose to make my music
Right.
in. Um, but an artist like Peter Cat Recording Co. even inspires me to remind myself that I don't need to just do something because that might sell. I
Right.
should be honest to myself and do what I think is right, because at the end of the day, I listen to so many French artists. I don't know a word they're saying. I listen
This
to,
is
like, I've been
global music. Yeah,
yeah,
artists from, oh yeah, Algeria, South Africa.
absolutely, absolutely. I don't know what they're saying, but I think they could be saying anything. I think it sounds cool. So I feel like we're slowly, it's a good time for us to be able to explore that, because it's if something is a vibe, it's going to reach people anyway.
Right.
It is obviously a larger audience that listens to Hindi music, just because that is our first um s- it's not our first spoken language, but it is what more people
Oh,
end up consuming. It is what most people end up consuming. But again, like if your song's a vibe and it speaks to someone, and if they can feel it in spite of the
yeah.
language, it will still work. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, definitely you're one of the most glamorous indie artists in the country. And the way you express yourself, I mean, with your outfits, with your style, I haven't seen anyone else do that in India. So, in short, I mean, you're a true group performer. So, how are you able to use this glamour quotient so seamlessly with your music?
Thank you. I don't know if I see it as glamorous. I think I've just always been like this ever since I was a kid. I used to put really odd outfits together.
Right.
I think my mom and my aunt, like my family, they just gave me the freedom to dress how I wanted and experiment. And I was like a strange little kid who was very like grown up, but like I had things I always liked. I used
Right.
to wear all my aunt's jewelry. I think a lot of kids do this, but I was like very particular, that, oh, I want to wear this pajama set, but I want my shirt tucked in and I want to tie a handkerchief around my neck and I want to wear shades. And now we're going to go out to buy groceries and I'm going to look like this. So deal with it. Um, I think that little me just grew up and it's the same person. And now I get to do it, but like I have a stage to do it on. Um, I feel like a lot of it is just that. And as time passed, I have been introduced to designers or younger designers, the fashion scene in India. I've worked with really cool stylists who've introduced me to so much more, who've helped me understand how to vocalize my style a lot more. So, and I personally just have a tendency to enjoy fashion and I love how something could look. So it's just that and my music together. It's just so much fun for me to do that.
I agree. I agree. Finally, I mean, what do you have stored in for your listeners in the coming months? And what will be your dream live concert venue?
My dream concert venue used to be the Red Rocks Amphitheater. It still is. But there is a new venue called Sphere in Las
Yes,
Vegas,
yes, yes.
which
Very,
where
it's
you
very,
two performed incredible.
very,
Like I heard that it might be shutting down and I'm just crossing my fingers. I'm like, till I play, just please be there. It looks incredible. I would love to play in a setting like that. So
right,
that really blew my mind. So definitely um these venues.
right,
And I have a lot of new music coming out. Like I said, I'm at it with a vengeance. I have a fresh sound. I have an amazing team who's helping me put this together. I have amazing artists who I'm surrounded by. I'm just trying to max out on everything that I can and put music out there. There's another single coming out in December. Um, I haven't even said anything about it yet, but fingers crossed, most likely it's going to be out in December. There will be a lot more music next year. I will be collaborating with really cool people. I am going to be working on an album and at the same time, we are managing and balancing a bunch of really cool shows. There will be a tour next year. And so I'll be able to meet my fans and actually have some great parties with them too.
right, right,
Yep,
right.
there's
Yeah.
all of this.
So thank you so much for your time, Kayan. I mean, lovely, lovely speaking with you. And he's looking forward to attending your live show very, very soon.
Please, you must come for the next one. You
Right.
must come.
Definitely, definitely. Keep releasing, amazing music. Keep inspiring people.
Thank
Right.
you so much. It was so lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.